welcome to eFlux Effects Tutorials. Today we're going to focus on creating this portal effect in After Effects. It was created using the Red Giant Tsunamis plugin along with Video Copilot, Optical Flare, Shockwaves, and Color Vibrance. As we go through this, I'll also show you how to use some free elements and free plugins to create a very similar effect. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get out of this and get into After Effects. Here we go. So first thing we want to do is come over here to Composition, New Composition, 1920 by 1080, give it a name. Just call it Tutorial 1, 24 frames a second, and we're good to go. So first thing we want to do is we're going to create the fire ring. So we're going to take, in this case, I'm going to use the Video Copilot Fire Element 02. I'm going to drag it down. Any fire element that will is kind of long and running across the bottom of the ground will work. Also, if you select the little grid here, you can look at this on a black background. Makes it a little easier. So first thing we want to do is get the polar coordinate effect, drag it on top of your layer, go to type of conversion, change it to rectangular to polar, and increase the interpolation to 100%. And if you look here, you can already see it's starting to create a nice fire ring. But now, if you want to color the fire ring and you don't want the original colors to interfere, a great way to do that is you just grab the tint, drop it in, and it converts it to a grayscale, and then we'll bring the free plugin from Video Copilot. You can go to their website if you don't have it and get it. I'll put a link below. Drag Color Vibrance in, and there you go. You can see how nice it brings it in. It's very, as it says, it's very vibrant, and that's the kind of effect we're looking for. In this case, I'm looking for more of a blue, so I know what I want. So I'm going to go 0, 0, 4 zeros and 2 Fs. Click OK, and there we go. Now, I'm going to take the, and we're going to duplicate it. So we're going to hit Control D. And, oh, by the way, do not hit Fill Empty Background. If you do, make sure you change your mode to Add. But in this case, we're going to leave it blank to get what we want. We're going to bring up R for rotation. And we're going to rotate it around, probably, let's see, go around about 130 degrees. We're going to hit Control D again. We're going to hit R, and we're going to rotate there. And as you can see, now we've kind of filled in the gaps, the empty spaces around there to get a nice continuous ring of fire. I think 3 is enough. If you want to be a little different, you can use more or less, and that works for me. But I don't like the portal this small, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to select all 3 layers, and I'm going to hit S for scale, and I'm going to scale this up. And I think that'll work. And then that's good. So now we have our fire ring. So we've got our outer ring, and let's close these up. And now we're going to go ahead and create the effects in Tsunami. So we're going to take the, we need a new layer, new solid, we'll name it Tsunami. Make sure we're the same size as the comp. And again, if you hit Make Comp Size, it'll do it for you, and you click OK. And now we're going to add the effect itself. So we're going to come down to Effect, Red Giant, Tsunami. And to create this, I want to actually use an underwater effect. So I'm going to go to the presets, and I'm going to click on the down arrow, go to Underwater and Caribbean. And you'll notice nothing happens. And then, but if you click on Go, there we go. Now we're underwater. So now we can start setting it up. So first thing under render options is we only want to render the water. We don't want to spend any. This is a very computer intensive plugin, so we don't want to waste any of our computing power. For render modes, right now while we're setting it up, we'll leave it under realistic. As we're actually working with the plugin, we can change it to, for example, wireframe, which will allow it to render a lot faster, and we can kind of get a sense of the movement of the water without rendering the surface. So, but for right now, let's go back to realistic, and let's kind of walk through. So first of all, under the render options, we're going to leave everything the same on its default. It doesn't need to change. Now we're going to come up here to the camera or down here, and east, west, 0. We'll leave the elevation is fine at -10. The tilt we're going to change. So we're going to run the tilt down to 53, and I'm going to plug these in just for the sake of time again, because it takes a while for this to render as we drag it. So for our position pan, we'll leave it at 90, and our roll we'll leave it 0. For the field of view, we're going to pull it back some. So in this case, I like 83.39. Again, experiment for yourself. That gave it kind of, it'll show more ripples in the portal, and that's what I was looking for. The bobbing doesn't affect here. We don't have to worry about air optics because we're under water. Our ocean optics, let's check what color those are. Yeah, I like the ocean optics. That's good. And we'll leave the rest at default, and then we're going to come down here and change the light. So we can leave that at air, water, it won't change anything. We want the elevation at 60, azimuth stays the same. Let's see what the light color is. I'm okay with the white light, but we are going to drop the intensity, 0.1. And there we go. It's nice and murky and muddy. I like that. So you can, if you want it to be a little brighter, you can change that, but I wanted a darker background, and you'll see as we kind of go through the tutorial why. And then we've got view, that's 5. So the view size is 50, the viewed intensity is 5, that's fine, the glitter scale is 1, so that's all good. And we didn't change anything else. So here you go. So you can see here where we've got the water, and we're going to take this and we're going to bring it down below the fire elements, and you can get a sense of what we're doing. So now I want to mask this out so that we don't show any of the water outside of the ring. But we can't just draw a mask on Tsunami. It won't work. So what we have to do is actually go create a layer, new, solid, and we'll call it Tsunami Mask. We just hit enter. And then what we're going to do is if you use Q shortcut, we can pull up the ellipse tool, start it in the center, and then we're going to just draw a circular mask. So if we hit shift and control, it'll center it and keep it as a circle. And we bring it out till we're just inside the fire, let go of the mouse button, and then let go of the keys. And then we can come over here and we can turn that layer off. And we're going to go ahead and use the track mat, which will look at the layer directly above it, and we're going to change that to alpha. And you can see, there you go. And then one of the things we should probably do is feather. So let's turn these off. Yeah, we don't want that to be quite so. Here we can toggle the actual mask on and off here, but we don't want it to be such a hard line. So we're going to hit feather, and I don't know, let's see, what if we brought it up to like 40? I think that's a good number. All right. So you can see here we've already got the beginnings of our. So let's shorten this just for the sake of render time to just a couple of seconds here. And I'm going to step away and let this render. It's going to take a little bit. Put it on full. All right, we're back. So if you look here, you can kind of see the portal fix starting to take shape, and you can see the movement in the back, and it's kind of got that nice liquid look that I was looking for, but it's kind of plain. So we're going to actually create some glow to make this thing even look a little cooler. So we'll go ahead and put this back on half, and we're going to go ahead and start the next. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to create another layer, new, solid, and we're going to call it lightning for the tutorial. We'll just call it lightning tutorial. Make sure that the width and height match the comp, which they will. Click OK. And we're going to come over here and let's And if we type lightning, and we want to generate advanced lightning, you don't want the obsolete. So I'm going to bring advanced lightning over here and apply it to the layer. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started setting this up. So first thing we want to do is we're going to take the lightning type and we're going to make it omni. And then we're going to move the origin to the center here, and then we're going to take the outer radius and we're going to apply it. We will be, let's see, just right about here. All right, so we've got that. So let's take the conductivity state. We're going to keyframe the conductivity state, so even though we're only rendering, so what we'll do is we'll click on the stopwatch, and then you can actually see it here, and then we'll bring it over a few seconds, and let's try right about there, and we'll change the value to, I don't know, 133. Andrew Kramer's got a good tutorial on this, and so I think that's number will work. Now, one of the things we can do, since we're focused on the on the lightning, is if we come over here to the tsunami and we go over here, we can actually change this to wireframe, and that will kind of get it out of our way. Won't prevent us from rendering, and you can see. All right, so that's jumping around nice. In fact, we can turn that off. We don't even need it. So I like that. Let's see. Let's go back to the lightning, and let's look at the core settings and the core radius. We're going to hit Alt and the stopwatch, and we can put a expression in there. Wiggle, and let's just go 8, 6. So we'll get that jumping around. Let's see the, sorry, jumped out of that. Leave the opacity the same. Let's see the core color. For this one, let's go with FCFF 00. There we go. Go with the yellow. And then let's go look at our glow settings. Glow radius is 50. Glow opacity is 0. And of course that one doesn't matter for the glow color since we're not using it. We want to go down to the turbulence, and let's turn that down a little bit. And forking at 35% or so. 37, decay. All right, so if we look here, we definitely have some lightning going on. And let's go with decay main core. There we go. All right, so that's a good start. So we're going to take the layer here and layer, and we're going to pre-compose, and we're going to move all attributes, and we're going to just change the name just call it pre-comp light. We've got everything to move. We'll click OK. Now we've got a pre-comp here. We'll jump over here, and we don't have to worry about mask because we know the size, and I like that. Awesome. So, all right, so we've got the first one. So on top of this lightning effect, we're going to go ahead and drop a solid composite. Layer. On the solid composite, we will change it to black. Click OK, leave that on normal. There we go. All right. Good, I like that. All right. So now we're going to duplicate the layer. And we'll make a few changes. So first thing we'll want to do is change the conductivity state let's just go to around 10 and change this to about 143. And then let's take the color. Let's change the color to, for this one, 0 FF to A. There we go. So we'll make that one green. Let's see how they're looking. And you'll notice you only see the one. So, all right. So turn that into an add. There we go. All right. So now we can see we've got 2, but I want to take it one step further, and I'm going to add 1 more. So same thing. Control, duplicate, and then we're already at add. That's good. And what we'll want to do is we'll change that to 20. So it's moving around, and then okay, we got the mode add, and let's go ahead and change the color. So come over here to core settings, core color, and for this one, let's go with the blue. Or red's even better. All right, I like red. So let's see what that looks like. There we go. So this is going to create a really cool glow. We're going to use that to create a glow effect underneath the tsunami wave. So, all right, so we've got that. So let's come back over here, and we won't turn on the tsunami just yet. So, perfect. So let's go ahead and get started and turning these into a nice glow. So with the pre-comp for the lightning tutorial selected, first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a box blur. So box blur, bring it over, and then we're gonna take the radius up quite a bit actually. There we go. So we're gonna really blur it a lot. All right, so we can adjust that later. We're gonna take the iterations to 3. And then repeat edge pixels. So let's leave that there, and you'll see why. We're going to use the exposure, which will bring back some of that glow. And if we change the exposure quite a bit, good. I like that. And the gamma correction, we can bring up just a little bit. There we go. Okay, and I like that. So again, I'm using a method that Andrew Kramer teaches, and when we're done here, you'll see that it'll give us a really nice glow to this. So we'll bring in the CC composite, which will kind of bring it back. 100%. Change the original to add. There we go. Then we're going to bring another box blur in. And for box blur 2, we're going to create the radius to about 36, 37, iterations 1, repeat edge pixels. That's good. Let's bring exposure in. And on the exposure, let's go a little less this time, maybe 2.2. Everything else the same. It's getting good. I like that. And then let's do one more box blur. And for this one, we'll blur it less. Oops, forgot to bring in some here. So let's bring in our CC composite. And we want to again add. Everything else stays the same. Now we'll bring the blur in. You can see where we're getting to with this. Yeah. But jumped way over. Here we go. All right. Let me close some of these up so we've got room. Here we go. Let's bring the box blur over. And in this case, I'm going to go 70 something, repeat X pixels again. And I think that's good. So now we've got the glow. So this is what's really cool. So, right, you see all it's got the glow out here. This is take the mask, hit Control D, duplicate it, drag it up above the lightning pre-comp. Same thing, go to your track mode, alpha, and there you go. And you can see the glow effect. Now, if we could probably just, so if we turn Tsunami back on, and here we go, change that normal to add, and let's go down to Tsunami and turn it, the render mode, back to realistic, and you can see that it's affecting, with it in add alone, you can see that it's already affecting the water. And it's a little strong, so we could a couple of options here. You can sit here and hit T and bring the opacity down. And that's pretty good right there. Like that. So just to kind of finish this tutorial off, what we'll do here is let's go and just bring in a background. So there we go. All right, so let's bring in a background and we'll kind of take a look at this. So let's scale that down and put it into place. There we go. And let's bring that back here. So again, you can create a mask and do different things so it looks like it's in the actually in the tunnel behind here. But I'm going to leave this for the sake of this tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and render this out for you, and then we'll here we go, put it on 4. So I'm going to go ahead and step out while this renders, and I'll come back and we can kind of talk about the next steps. And whoops, got this up a little higher than I thought I did. All right, so there we go. All right, so let me go ahead and render it off, and we'll be back. All right, we're back. So you can see here how it looks when it's rendered. So I kind of have you can see the flashing lights from the lightning, the glow there. You can adjust the opacity to make that stronger or weaker at your preference. You can change the wind direction for the way the water is flowing. I have it dripping down with the thought that gravity would pull it down. And you can change the tint, the color. As we went through, I picked blues. So 2 things. One is I will put the water element on YouTube where you can, and I'll include the link so you could download it using ClipConverter or a similar program. This way you'll have kind of that moving water effect if you want it. I will also show you how to create different borders with Video Copilot Saber in part 2, and then we'll also cover how to do the beginning and ending transitions, and just to kind of show you what those look like. Here's a little clip I put together just to demonstrate the effect. And you'll see it kind of bursts on the screen. You have the folks walking through it, and then it disappears. So pretty simple to do, a lot of using shock waves and optical flares. So I look forward to finishing this up in part 2, and hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, put them below. If not, have a great day. And again, like and subscribe. Thank you.